Hey everybody, welcome to the Book Nook. Today we're going to talk about 5 Booktuber recommended books that I loved. So I watch quite the variety of just different types of Booktubers, and I love finding books through them, and as I'm sure you do as well. On top of the fact that these books I loved, I also really love all of these Booktubers that I'm going to mention, so let's get into it. So the first Booktuber book that was recommended to me that I really loved is from the Jeff Word, and it is the book Hex by Thomas Olde-Heuveldt. The Jeff Word is awesome and one of my favorite Booktubers. He does a lot of videos for Suntup and Levidian, like the special release Fancy Pants books, and it's pretty awesome. And he's funny and weird, and I'm weird, so I like weird, so he's just fantastic. And so he recommended Hex as well as Echo, which I haven't read, but I have it. I do have it. It's next to my bed. I plan to read it at some point soon. I just have so many books. Hex by Thomas Olde-Heuveldt is a book about this town that has this creepy witch that walks through the town, appears in people's houses, and just this town has basically been cursed. It's what happens when these kids of the town, like the next generation of people, they want to get the word out because the town isolates themselves, no one can leave, or else they have these crazy suicidal visions and they want to kill themselves, and then some do. And it's just this crazy witchy dark read, and I really enjoyed it. I can't wait to read Echo. And he has another book that's coming out called Oracle that's already out where he's from in Europe. So Hex by Thomas Olde-Heuveldt, recommended by the Jeff Word. So the next book that was recommended was The Lake of the Dead by Andre Bierke, and that was recommended by Typical Books. And Typical Books, she is awesome. She does a lot of horror book related videos, and as you know, I love horror. So this book was written in, I want to say it was 1942 that it came out, and it is one of the best ever written books from Norway. And they considered it at the time crime fiction, but it has occult and mystery and horror and crime all wrapped up into one, and it's a fantastic read. I have a standalone video for that. I have a standalone video for Hex as well. I will actually link all of these down below. I don't even remember how I discovered half of these channels. I know how I found the Jeff Word. I had looked up Josh Malerman books reviews because he is also a Josh Malerman fan. Typical Books, I think probably just because, I was looking for people who do horror reviews, and I love her channel. There's always she talks about new horror releases and different books, and she reads books from there'll be present day ones and also much older ones, which is awesome because you get more and find more books that you wouldn't normally find. The booktube circuit is just focused more on what's coming out new and doesn't always look at older releases. Typical Books recommended The Dead by Andre Bierke, and it's such an awesome read. The next one that was recommended to me recently was Siren Queen by Nevo, and this is from Kristen Crave's Books. I found her channel recently. I think, honestly, we connected in the comments of someone else's booktube channel, and we bonded over Daughter of the Moon Goddess because that book is also fantastic. But Siren Queen recently came out, and it's a look at the dark underbelly of pre-code Hollywood. So it's back in the day, but it's also magical, and people are monsters, and it talks about what people give away to become a star in Hollywood, and how the main character of this, how she fights against giving away pieces of herself to try and remain her whole self while she's pursuing this stardom in Hollywood. And it was just a really great read. And Kristen Crave's Books, she has a variety of videos. So she reads everything from fiction, romance, historical fiction, fantasy, a little bit of everything is what I feel. And as I said, I've followed her more recently, so haven't had a chance to really delve into her channel a ton, but what I have seen I really like, and I really like her. Siren Queen, Nevo, recommended by Kristen Crave's Books. Absolutely fantastic read. So the next book I follow a booktuber who is super into fantasy, and most of his channel is fantasy related. It is The Ponderings of Pete, and he recommended to me Misborn by Brandon Sanderson because I asked him, I was like, where is a good place to start with Brandon Sanderson if you've never read him? Because I wanted to know, is the hype for real? Is it? I have a video solely dedicated to that, and I will link that down below too. And if you want to know if the hype is real, well, this is a book that I loved, so the hype is real. So yeah, Ponderings of Pete, lots of fantasy content. He's fantastic. He has a great channel, great community. He does a lot of videos where they'll live stream with some of his fellow booktubers where they discuss fantasy stuff, and it's really great. So if you like fantasy, you might really like The Ponderings of Pete. But yeah, Misborn by Brandon Sanderson, I freaking love that book, and I cannot wait to read the next one, The Well of Ascension, in the trilogy. And then after the trilogy, there's more. But I'm going to read the trilogy, and then we may get into the other ones. We'll see. But yeah, like Misborn by Brandon Sanderson, loved it. It was awesome. Ponderings of Pete is awesome. Check them out. The final book that was recommended was The Winter Garden by Alexandra Bell, and this was recommended by The Paper Traveler. She is a freaking ray of sunshine. I love her videos. She also reads like a great variety of books, everywhere from fantasy to fiction to horror to just all over. to it's quite the variety of books. And then sometimes she'll do other videos. She did one recently where you get to see like her garden and all these beautiful outdoor places that make her happy, and that was really cool. And just if you want a booktuber who will uplift your day and is just always pleasant and lovely, The Paper Traveler is fantastic. And I actually have this one with me. The rest of the books I got from the library because, you know, when they're booktube recommended, you never know. You may or may not have the same taste. But like, look at this cover. And I didn't have this before I made my my video about the best covers on my shelf, the top 10 covers on my shelf. This would have been in there because look at how pretty it is. The Astral Tiger, oh my goodness. This would have been in that video, but I didn't have it yet. So honorary, beautiful book cover. Also, this book is fantastic. I loved it. It was so magical and so like wondrous, and it like reaches out to the child in you, but it's also darker and underlying themes. And it's on the cover it says, "What would you sacrifice for one life-changing wish?" It focuses around these two women and just some of the really crappy things that happened to them in their lives and the bad choices they made and the mistakes they made, and just it was really great. It was really fantastic. This one, I honestly think I would probably read it again. With rereads, I do reread. I haven't had a new one that I thought, well, no, that's not true either, because Ghoul in the Cape. I'm lying. Ghoul in the Cape. Yeah, I would reread this at some point in time because like I love magical books, and this was so freaking magical. Like the descriptions of these winter gardens and the gardens in it and just all the magical things that exist are so beautiful. And it just, the whimsy and delight that it evokes with those descriptions is just phenomenal. The Winter Garden by Alexandra Bell was recommended by The Paper Traveler. All of these booktubers I have mentioned are fantastic. And as you can see, there's quite the variety of them. Some from horror, fantasy, and then the variety booktubers. I freaking love them. I will have all their channels linked down below if you want to go check them out. And all the books will be linked down below as well. I will have links to those. Those will be affiliate links, so a little bit will go to me, but the rest will go to independent bookstores. And if you so choose, you can actually choose what bookstore that you want to go to. Thank you everyone so much for joining me in the book nook today as I talked about 5 booktube recommended books that I loved. And I also love these booktubers. They're great. You should definitely check them out. So until next time, we'll see you later. I am weird. We'll see you later.